welcome back to The Perspective. We're still talking to Honeywell. Human capital, Alex, one of the most important aspects how Honeywell can develop in any part of the region or any country that Honeywell works in. Now, you said 98% of the local manpower or workforce in Indonesia for Honeywell is actually Indonesian, right? And then we talk about ASC, where skilled laborers will be, there's a free flow of skilled laborers from the neighboring countries, and Indonesia is gonna need to really work hard towards that end. What's your take on closing the gap within Honeywell itself and the industry and in the region in general, in the bigger picture?
Sure. You know, Honeywell in itself as a company is quite a lean company as far as personnel-wise goes. So we're very selective in who we pick, but we believe that people are what differentiates us as a company. Really, people are the biggest differentiator. If you don't have great people, you don't have great innovation, you don't have great technology, but also you don't have people that are out on the street every day really doing their best for the company. So a lot of what we do is really embedding our culture into the people. You know, it's a company that really has come into Indonesia not being its first high growth region. So we've done this around the world in many, many different areas before. And you know, since the company has been around for over 100 years, you know, really we have systems in place really for career development, and whether the person comes in the oil and gas industry or the controls industry or in our smart building technology, each one of them has a career path in the company, and every year that career path is evaluated and seen really what that person needs to come up to the next level. So it's a continuous process for Honeywell, and as I said earlier in the show, really Honeywell is kind of a company that hires, trying to look at a lifetime career for people here. And what we try to do really not only for employees here but also for Indonesia is that we work with certain schools around here to kind of give feedback on the curriculum, because sometimes we find that there's quite a gap between what the students that are coming out of school and what Honeywell is looking for. So we work with some of the schools here to give feedback and tell them really what classes they should have, what classes they need to beef up, so that really they're more closer to what the needs are of people really that are hiring at this time in Indonesia.
Now, Alex, you talk about Honeywell culture. What's Honeywell culture?
So Honeywell has 5 initiatives and 12 behaviors that pretty well are standardized throughout the whole company. And so really from the CEO all the way down to the secretary, this is really the culture that really drives the company. We believe that people are our greatest differentiator. So out of all our initiatives, people is really the most important. And what that means is really every person is important and every person has a career at Honeywell. So we're always trying to develop that person to bring out their fullest potential. And every year we evaluate really where they are as far as their growth, as far as their career path, and really see what is needed on a yearly basis to see really what is needed to train them up into the next level. Every person really in the company is looking to move up somewhere between 3 to 5 years into a new position. And we do our training really either through internal basis or through consultants, or there are people in Indonesia that we bring in here, and they'll go to our main office in Des Plaines for oil and gas, or they'll go to Phoenix for aerospace to learn about that. And then they'll come back here and become trainers to other people.
And transfer that knowledge to local people. Now, does that culture assimilate with local cultures? Your presence in the Americas, China, India, and now in Indonesia, do you adjust the culture accordingly to the local culture, or that's the core culture that Honeywell tries to instill in their employees wherever they may be? No,
the culture is the same culture worldwide, and Indonesians fit right well with that culture.
Glad to hear that. Now we'll talk more about you mentioned about how you in communication with schools in terms of trying to give feedback to their curriculum and to make sure that closing the gap of the graduates from schools, but what Honeywell actually needs, skills that Honeywell actually needs from these young graduates. Right after the short break.